Banks brought us coverage of this zoning request back in November. He joins us now with an update. Case?
Well, Karen and Abner, this zoning change would be for the property on 19th and 20th Streets west of University, where Cafe J and the Godbold Center currently are, and the Tech Terrace Neighborhood Association, which would be just south of that development, says the zoning request shouldn't get consideration right now. The landowner says it should, and it's the right project.
The size of the building, the density of the building, the number of traffic, it's still all the same problems.
The Tech Terrace Neighborhood Association is expected to renew its arguments against a multi-story student housing proposal as the developer, Up Campus, renews its request for a zoning change to allow for the apartments west of University, stretching from 19th down to 20th.
They've amended their plan for the building again. It's still a huge building, and it's too big for the property where they want to place it.
That's the belief of the association and was for a majority of the Planning and Zoning Commission members in November when they denied the request in a vote of 6-3. Don Richards, a Tech Terrace resident and an attorney, says their opposition now includes the ability of the zoning request to be considered so soon, filing a motion to dismiss the case.
The code says that if you then don't take it to City Council and get them to approve it or overturn it, then you cannot bring it back to Planning and Zoning on the same property for at least 12 months.
The developer did withdraw the case in November before the commission's recommendation went before the council. Richard says they'll make that legal argument before the commission Thursday evening, whether they take up the motion or not. The developer and landowner say this is the right and needed development for the area.
I think it's going to be good for Texas Tech and good for Lubbock. And I don't think it's going to have an adverse effect on the neighborhood. In fact, I think it'll improve property values, as it has in other cities.
George Hardberger owns the land. He says the changes made to the proposal allow them to take this to the commission again and hopes that they'll satisfy their concerns.
Previously on 20th Street, there was a 3-story apartment building. There was opposition to that because it didn't fit in with the neighborhood. Now the developer is building houses there. It will fit in with the neighborhood. It will reduce traffic. They've also reduced the size of the project by about 20%.
Hardberger argues if this housing project isn't approved, the current zoning allows for many other things.
A used car lot. We could even put in a college bar, and we wouldn't have to ask their permission. It's not the best use of the property. The best use of the property is to do what Up Campus has proposed.
Now, the city's planning department recommended approval of the zoning change. That was back in November, but again, the commission voted against it. We're going to be at the public hearing tomorrow at 6 inside the council chambers at Citizens Tower. Karen.